Hey there, Tim Blankenship with Divorce661.com. Today we're here again with Lisa Scholes, divorce mediator, divorce coach. And today we're talking about divorce myths. We're trying to find a topic for today, and we came across some interesting articles on the myths, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about these and kind of demystify these myths. So the first thing we're going to talk about, the first one is, let me get to our fancy slides here. Does mediation allow one spouse to dominate the other? The myth was phrased as mediation allows one spouse to dominate another. Is that a myth is that something you've heard come up, or how?
Definitely, especially since in litigation and with attorneys, that is the case. One will have a stronger attorney or a more expensive attorney or a more knowledgeable attorney, and the other one will definitely be in a weaker position. In mediation, that is one of the main things that changes. We want this to be an agreement made on level, equal ground. We don't want one spouse to have the advantage over the other. And sometimes they come in that way, and then through the mediation process, we try to bring everybody up or down or to a middle ground to where everybody is on the same playing field and one doesn't feel like they're being bowled over. So that's one of the most important parts of the mediation process, is not allowing one spouse to have the advantage over another spouse.
So that's the exact opposite. There isn't someone with more power, or no one's allowed to dominate. Nope. And how do you as a mediator address that? Because I'm sure you've come across that.
Definitely. The first time we come together is through, like when we have the free consultation, and both parties are there, and you allow both of them to speak. You give them each a chance to kind of say what they want to say and ask the questions they want to ask. And as the mediator, more of like a facilitator, you remind the other party that the other party gets a chance to speak and they will have a time to say what they want to say. Even on the phone, because one party will ultimately call first and then the other party needs to make contact. And you need to make it clear from the get-go that you were there to help both of them. I'm not gonna favor one, I'm not gonna favor another, that both of them need to be able to have an equal footing in the process. And so it begins with the phone call, and then when both are allowed, I think it sets their minds at ease that there's not gonna be one that's gonna take control and make this agreement in their favor.
Gotcha. So, I mean, like my business, normally one party will call. They'll initiate the contact with if I call for mediation. And what do you normally tell them to ensure that there's that trust factor and there's no domination? It's like, hey, let's set up a consultation in person or over the phone, maybe conference call where both parties are on the phone. Right. Is that what you do? Or?
Initially, I ask them if they would like me to contact the other person. My preference is to have the other person make the initial contact with me, because it lets me know that they are on board, that they have spoken to their spouse, that they have discuss the process, and that person is then calling me,
like freely, willingly.
Exactly. And that's a difficult thing, because they're already in a difficult position with each other. Communication is broken down a lot of times, so trying to convince the other person that this is a good thing may push them away from that process.
Do you find that the one spouse over the other, like man versus woman, is more or less likely to use mediation?
That's a good question. Women initially are more drawn to the process. It sounds like it's something that they enjoy because they're able to kind of express themselves and have a safe place to do so. But I have had men call saying that they think that mediation would be best for them and their spouse, and but they're allowing their spouse, their wife, to choose, or their partner to choose the mediator. So they're making the calls, but they want the wife or the partner to be able to make that call and to finalize the choice.